Hallelujah. Y'all may be seated in the presence of the Lord. In the presence of the Lord, y'all may be seated. Saints, I want to share something with you, amen, that as your pastor, first thing is an honor to be your pastor. And the second thing is this, that as a pastor, you have to understand that I'm going to teach you the things of God and walk you through the Word of God and walk you through the ways of God so you can live the victorious life that God has promised you. That you, amen, would learn how to operate in the power and in the glory of God, amen, and learn how to use, amen, and allow the grace of God to operate in your life. I would be remiss not to show you the right way. I would be remiss not to show you the right way and how to walk in the things of God and how to be in the Lord, amen. So you have to understand that I told you in the beginning of this year, there are times that I'm going to be an absolute pest about doing the right thing. Because saints, I'm going to share something with you. It's good for me. And if it's good for me, then I know it's good for somebody else. Because I'm not doing things according to my way. I'm doing it according to the Word. And the Word, amen, and God is not a respecter of person, amen. And if He did it for one, He'll do it for another. And if He did it for one, He'll do it for another, amen. The Word of God is true. And whoever, amen, allows the Spirit of God to be applied to their lives and applied to the things in their lives, amen, your life will grow exponentially in the things of God. Amen. Somebody give God a praise, amen, for that. So now this morning, amen, as I pray into the service, amen, let's go bow our heads and I pray into the service. Father, in Jesus' mighty name, I give you all the praise and honor you're worthy and due of. And God, I thank you right now in the name and in the blood of Christ, Lord God, that you're blessing us, that you're leading and guiding us, Father. And as I decrease, let your Holy Ghost increase in me even the more, Lord God. And let your Spirit, Father God, flow and abound in the lives of everyone that is here today. And God, I give you praise and thanks for it all. Let this word edify the body, Lord God, and let the body greatly glorify you. God, we give you praise and thanks for it all right now in Jesus' mighty name. Let the church say, let the church say, let the church say, let the church say. Hallelujah. So we're back again, amen, and I'm thankful, amen, to be able to preach on this series. Anybody's getting anything out of this series? Go ahead. Anybody getting anything in the series? Go ahead. I'm going to share something with you about going to an open door. When God blesses us to go through an open door, I want to share something with you. Do not think it's strange there's going to be a battle going toward your purpose. Don't think it's strange. Because the enemy knows that he does not want you to understand the greatness and the power and the glory of what God has for your life. Say something, share something. Anybody here like ice cream? Yeah. Anybody like ice cream? I like it. I'm a big fan of ice cream, amen. And I'm going to share something with you. What if you can, in case somebody can buy me something? What if you can is one of my favorite Publix. Publix just got a commercial spot. So if you want to buy me some ice cream, butter pecan ice cream is one of my favorites. So now I say that to say this. God said, taste and see how good He is. Amen. If you've ever tasted anything that's good, don't you want some more of it? If you've ever tasted anything that's been not just good to you, but also good for you, that you get a double blessing in that is good for you and is good to you, don't you want some more? Amen? So now I say that to say, God, we thank you. Because with this particular thing, when you're going through an open door, amen, a lot of times we're called to a place, not so much to be like, unless we're called to a place to be like Christ. But it's so much that you would be the difference. That's right. A lot of things that we deal with in this world is not that we go into it, amen, watch this, not that we go into it that we're looking for a fight, because we're not looking for the fight, amen. What it is, we're looking for victory. Amen. Because what it is, when we get victory, that means God gets the glory for it, amen, and everybody around gets, amen, to receive the glory of God and to receive the blessings of God if they're willing to listen to the things of God. So now when God calls us to a place, He calls us through an open door because He realized there's something missing that needs to be there. There's something missing of His Spirit. There's something missing of His power. There's something missing of His glory. And whatever that thing that is missing, you are the answer. Amen. Let me say that again. Amen. How many of you understand that you are the answer to the situation that God called you to? Amen. But not you in the flesh, but you in the Spirit. That you are the answer to what God is calling you to, but not the carnal mind, but the spiritual mind. There's something inside of you, amen, that God is going to extract in order to be a blessing to everyone who is around you, as long as you allow the Spirit of God to operate in you. Yeah. There is something about you, amen, that God said, okay, my son or my daughter, you're the answer to the situation, therefore I'm going to send you there. You ever get a new job? promotion, you're the answer.
Amen.
You're the answer. You ever get blessed with a new thing? A car, a house, a boat? Because what it is, God understands the vehicle that's needed to take you to the place where he's saying, you are the answer. And so when you get there, you cannot afford to subscribe to the same mindset as everything and everybody around you. Because everything and everybody around you, what it is they've actually been waiting on you to get there. They've been waiting on you to get, even though they may not realize it, they've been waiting on you to. This is one of the reasons why here at this church, I am strongly against church members bickering and fighting. I'm patient. And a lot of times patience and kindness is misunderstood for weakness. Yeah. I'm patient, but don't ever think that I'm weak.
Come on.
I'm kind. And sometimes I am slow to speak and quick to hear. That's what the word says. But I do that for the purpose of giving you a chance to open your eyes. For giving God a chance to open your eyes. And if that's not so, then I have to come to you and say, you need to change your ways.
Amen.
You got to change your ways. Because when you do change your ways and you get into the spiritual mind, what it is you start to discover the blessing that God has inside of you. You start to discover not only the blessing that God has inside of you, amen, watch this, because when God sends somebody to a church, he sends somebody to a job, he sends someone to a community, he sends someone to a situation, he is expecting you to provide the answer, amen. Sometimes it's not to fix what's broken, sometimes it's just to make whatever's good better.
Amen. Jesus. That's right.
That was enough to give God some praise.
That's right.
I'd love to go into a situation that makes us good even better. Amen. Would you love, amen, to be able to add some more goodness to what's going on around you, amen? And as if you see other people enter into this thing that they're adding more goodness, amen, to what God has called you to. This is one of the purposes, amen, when God calls people to a location, his people, it's in order to help things grow the way he would have it grow, amen. So God is talking to the children of Israel as they enter into the land of Canaan. They've crossed the Jordan, amen, and in getting into crossing the Jordan and getting into the land, God tells them about 7 spirits to beware of, and he told them, do not worship their gods. He told them, I'm going to drive them out from before you because this thing is not internal to you. I also need you to not allow this thing to become internal to you. Now, the first thing you have to deal with and you have to beware of is the worship of other gods that is not your God. Because we understand the name Canaan means trader or merchant. God does not want us to now trade our worship to him to the worship of other things. He says in his word that his name is jealous. You know God loves you that much that he says his name is jealous. I don't know about y'all, but amen, I love, amen, being a child of a God, amen, that says that he wants me so much that he's not willing to share me with the devil. God is not willing to share my mind with the devil. He's not willing to share my finances with the devil. He's not willing to share my spirit with the devil. He's not willing to share my soul with the devil, amen. I love the fact that God loves us so much, amen, that he is not willing to share us with the enemy. God is a good God.
Amen.
So today we jump in and we deal with this Gregashite spirit. This Gregashite spirit, what it means is, the name means, the saints, I'm going to share something with you. When you're reading your Bible and you come across different names, in order to understand the spirit that is behind that name and that person, you have to look at the meaning of the names. And the meaning of the names is going to reveal the spirit of who they are. So now we look at the Gregashite name, and the Gregashite name means this: clay dweller. It refers to the dwelling in earthliness. This type of spirit promotes a focus on earthly, temporal things, and produces a disdain for the things that are spiritual, eternal, and thereby denies the truth of God. So now anything that's in you that denies the truth of God, you have to understand that it's not of God. Anything in you that does not want to operate in the spiritual mind, would rather operate in the carnal mind, you have to understand that this thing is at war against the God that is in you. The Bible declares, as great is he who is in you than he who is in the world. Anything that comes against, amen, what God has placed inside of you, we have to learn how to rebuke that thing. Anytime thoughts are coming in your mind and it's allowing you to become angry, amen, and it's building up an anger against you, and that anger is not occupying your mind, you have to learn how to rebuke that.
Yes.
Saints, I'm going to share something with you. One of the biggest thieves of going forward or getting forward is getting even.
Jesus, my Lord.
When you waste your time on wanting to get even, you've also wasted time on getting ahead.
That's right.
When you want to get even, amen, because God says in His Word very plainly, He said, vengeance is mine, thus saith the Lord. So when you waste time on wanting to get even, you lose time on getting ahead. Because you're so much dealing with the fact that I want to get even. I want to do something to that person because they did something for me. And if you spend your mind on it and spend your time on it, amen, and don't realize that you're losing time of getting ahead because you're trying to get even, then now you realize, wait a minute, where did yesterday go? Yesterday, at minimum, I could have planted a seed. At minimum, I could have laid one more brick. At minimum, I could have spent that time with God. At minimum, I could have rebuked the devil. At minimum, I could have grown in the Word. But we've wasted time wanting to get even.
Jesus, my Lord.
This is why we have to forgive.
Amen.
Amen.
Because when you forgive, it releases you.
Yes, it does.
When you forgive, it releases you.
Yes.
You know, unforgiveness keeps you bound to a situation.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
If you don't forgive someone or forgive something, say something. Brother Dave, you stand for a second. One more time. Me and Pastor Sherry had ministered at a couple's Valentine Day, a couple's Valentine thing. And the Lord had us, I'm trying to remember the sermon title, but I remember it was about forgiveness. And one of the things about forgiveness is, and holding things against people is this. When you forgive, part of that word forgive is give.
Come on.
Give.
Come on.
So now even though the person, and I'm not saying this about Brother David, but even sometimes people may not deserve your giving, forgive anyway.
Amen.
Because here's why. If you're holding on to unforgiveness, guess who got it in their hand? Even though they did it to you. So now, when you give this thing to the person, amen, you forgive them, now you release the unforgiveness, and this unforgiveness is not holding you bound anymore. But if you hold on to unforgiveness, guess who's holding the weight now? This is one of the way the enemy try to keep you down, try to put an anchor on your spirit, try to keep your mind down, because he knows if he can make you angry, amen, and you're so tired of wanting to get even, then you'll never get ahead in what God has for your life. This is why we have to forgive, amen, and it's interesting because that word is a compound word. Forgive means to pre-approve of forgiveness for an assault of something that may happen to you.
Amen. Jesus.
For knowledge. For seen. For something I've done already before it even happened.
Jesus, my Lord.
I had a conversation with somebody this week, and I said, you know what? Thank you, Brother David. You can have a seat. I said, I already forgive you.
My Lord. Amen.
Even though your conversation was trying to prime me and pump me to act outside of the Spirit of God, I said, you know what, sir? I said, I've already forgiven you.
That's right.
Now, you know, this was 20 years ago. He might have seen it differently. I'm just being honest with you.
Amen.
I'm just being honest with you. Those who knew me back then, you know. I'm just being honest. But I thank God for where I am today.
Amen.
And saints, believe, I don't want to go back.
Yes.
I don't want to go back. I don't want to look back. I don't want that nonsense in my heart. I don't want to have to deal with those things that were in my heart. And even, well, let me go back even further, because even 20 years ago, I learned how to forgive. Let me go back maybe 30 years ago, when I was 20 and 18, between 20 and 25. You know, those days. And I thank God because I don't want to go back to that. I don't want to go back to being that person. So I thank God that I've learned how to forgive. I thank God that, amen, that as I walked in the door of understanding what the spiritual mind is, that I don't allow the things of this world to keep me bound, that I cannot look at the things of God and say, God, I want to go higher than you. That these spirits are no longer an anchor against me. So now one of the things about being a clay dweller is that you are rooted into earthly things. You're rooted into an earthly way of thinking about things. That you start to develop a contempt for the things that would take you. So I'm going to share something with you. Only way you can grow is by having the presence of the Holy Spirit with you.
Amen.
The only way you can grow, and grow in anything, is by having the presence of God and having the presence, because it's God that causes all things to grow. If God is not there, it does not grow.
Amen.
Jesus.
And then you have to look at the type of growth. Sometimes it's not about the numbers, but it's about the people. The people that are there, are they growing? Amen. Saints, I share something with you. If nobody else don't raise their hand, I thank God for this ministry because I grew.
Jesus, my Lord.
I grew. I thank God for this ministry because I grew. But if anybody else can touch and agree with that and say, yeah, I've grown, Pastor Diamond, amen. Don't be afraid to give God some glory for that, amen. Don't be afraid to give God glory for that. Say, God, I thank you that no matter how I've grown, So now I want to say something else right now that's in my notes, and I kind of want to place it right here so that when we get to a certain place, you'll know the tools and you know what to look for when we get there. One of the things I want to talk about is treasure. I want to give you, and I had to go back, and we were here last week talking about treasure, but I had to go back, amen, and one thing the Holy Ghost led me to expound on that definition of treasure. So I looked at the definition of treasure and what the Holy Ghost gave me, and I'm going to share that with y'all right now. And this is what I put together as a definition of treasure. Wealth as money, jewels, or precious metal, stored up or buried. It is to be found by those who are led by the knowledge and wisdom of where to look. It is to be revealed by and to the finder. It is revealed to the finder that it is later revealed by the finder for the glory of its power, beauty, worth, and value. Let me say that again for everybody writing this down. Catch hold of this. Treasure. Wealth as money, jewels, or precious metal stored up or buried. It is to be found by those who are led by knowledge and wisdom of where to look.